Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex. This is actually my very first YouTube video that I've ever done. This is a long time coming. I've always wanted to do this and I never really got a chance to, so better late than never, right? Anyways, I've got good news for me. I just took the Florida Contractors Business and Finance exam and I passed it, which, like I said, that's great. Great news for me. But what I think is good news for you is that I wanted to make a series of videos where I cover the business and finance portion, the exam, for everybody to review. And what I mean by that is there's obviously, people know that this is an open book test where you're allowed to bring your books, but the books are not exactly always easy to navigate. And what I wanted to do is that I wanted to make a series of videos where I essentially highlight every book that's on the exam, and not really page by page, but almost page by page, want to go over everything in the Contractors Manual, like a comprehensive review, so that you will see what I thought was important to know for the exam. And this is just not necessarily my information, but this is from watching other people's videos and interacting with other people that have taken the test. I've been able to put together what I think is the most relevant information for the exam. And I think that it can help you. So what I'm going to be doing the next few videos is that I'm going to be essentially covering all of the materials for the exam. All right. Now, before we really get into it, I just want to kind of briefly go over the materials. What you're going to need is the Florida Contractors Manual. What I have here is the 2021 edition. You may have the 2017 edition, and that's perfectly fine. There's very, very few things that are different in between the two editions. So whichever edition you have, you're good to go. It's not really going to be an issue. From what I've seen, there's only one question, one piece of information where there's a discrepancy, but the likelihood of them asking you that information is very, very unlikely. So I don't think you really need to worry about it. But what I'm going to be doing in the following videos is that I'm essentially going to be going over chapter by chapter in this book. So if you have a blank version of this book, it would be great for you to grab a highlighter and follow along, because I'm going to mention what I think is important to know and the things that you really need to focus on for the exam. So this is the most important thing that you're going to need for the business and finance exam. I would say that maybe 60 to 70% of your questions will come from here. So this is the meat and potatoes of the exam. Next, you're also going to need to have a Builder's Guide to Accounting book. This is a textbook, and this is as boring as it looks and it sounds, all right? Nonetheless, there's going to be a lot of questions that they're going to ask you from this book. The book is actually not that difficult to navigate, and we'll get into it in the future videos, but it is important for you to have this book. Next thing that they want to see on the test is that you need to have these things called the AIA documents, all right? There's the A201, 401, and 701. These are essentially booklets, like brochures. They're needed for the exam. They're important because there will be questions that are asked from here. We're going to cover that as well at some point in the future. This will be about 10% of the exam. I had a few questions pertaining to the 201, 401, and 701, but this is fairly easy to navigate, fairly easy to cover. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because this is not where most of the test is going to come from. There's also another section that they want to see that you have. It's actually the chapter 455, Florida statutes. I have that as well. You don't necessarily need to bring your own copy of that because actually your Contractor's Manual is going to have that built in. So it's not anything that you need to really worry about or get on your own. I know there's companies out there that sell 455 separately and don't buy it from them. You don't need to. It's free. It's readily available from the state. But what's the point? You already have it in your book. So the less things that you want to bring into the test, the better. All right? I'm not even going to spend any more time on it. What I really want to say about the test is that, I don't want to make it seem as if that I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom. That's not really what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be essentially telling you what I think is important and what are the things that you really should focus on for the exam. This is not an easy test. I'm not going to BS you and say, hey, just do what I tell you and you're going to be good to go. No, you really gotta show the test the proper respect. If you think you're just going to waltz into this exam with the materials without really having reviewed the materials, you're probably going to fail. All right. I don't want to, I don't want to give you the wrong impression here. I heard a statistic that says that over 80% of first-time applicants for the business and finance exam fail. And after having taken the test, I can see why. I mean, it is not an easy test. You really only have about 3.5 minutes per question. So if you're not familiar with the materials, you're going to be lost. Because the main purpose of this exam is not for you to learn how to answer certain questions or know things like numbers and details. No, there's just too much information in these books for you to really remember. If you try to memorize for the test, you're probably going to fail. What the test really wants to know is that the test wants to see, can you navigate the materials to source the answer for the question, okay? And that's where you really have to be prepared. You've got to sit down and you have to know, what does each chapter of each book really cover? So that when the question comes up on the test, you know immediately which book to go to and which chapter to refer to. This way you save yourself time and you're able to navigate as quickly as possible. But listen, it's not insurmountable. The test is totally doable. You will pass. All you have to do is just focus, spend some time preparing for the test, and you really shouldn't have any issues. And I will do my best to help you along. If you've got any questions, please reach out. If you have any comments, please let me know and I'll see what I can do. But in any case, thank you for joining me on this very first video, and I hope you follow along on the future videos that I put out pertaining to the business and finance exam, and maybe some other things that I'll do. I'm not sure. Like I said, this is my very first video. I'm not sure where this will take me. Hopefully I can bring value to you and hopefully I can help you. I know this is not exactly easy, but I hope that this is something that you can benefit from, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.